Hi everybody. So today what I would like to do is share with you this app, Drawings, Mandala Kaleidoscope. I've used this for several years with first graders. And when we use it, we look at the sand drawings by a Japanese pufferfish, a male Japanese pufferfish, who uses his sand drawings to attract a mate. Interesting conversations to have with first graders. And when we look at it, and experiment with it, we're basically focusing on matching. We talk about how the lines of the pufferfish's sand drawing match one another from left to right, top to bottom. We also notice how the lines get thinner as they get closer to the center. So let's take a look at it real quick so you can see what it can do. So we open it up. And you've got your circle right there. So there's a few things you can do. You can see it is a free app. If I go up to the menu right here, oh, wrong button. If I go to the menu right there, I can change the levels of symmetry. I have my students start with 10, but it goes all the way up to 50 lines of symmetry, which would be pretty intense visually. But with 10, it allows them to kind of see how it works. Or we can scale it back and we can do 8. Right? So we can do that. Mirror rotation, don't need that. Brush width, I asked them to start with a wide brush because we talk about thick, medium, and thin. Once we do that, you can come down here and you can change your brush color. I encourage my students to start with a lighter color. So you can kind of adjust that. Decide what color you're going to start with, and it shows up right there. Once you know the brush color that you're going to start with, you hit OK, and then you could start to draw in there. Right? If you're not feeling that, you can hit undo. If I draw shorter strokes, you can also hit undo, and it's just going to take away a section of those. Or you can hit clear canvas. Are you sure? Yep, I am. Right? So I can add my design like that. And usually when my first graders are working with it, they're working with a partner. They're learning about sharing and taking turns and teamwork, right? So let's say once they do this, and I encourage them to clear it a couple of times too, right? Then what we do is we go into the menu again, and we make the brush a little smaller, right? We go to number 10, and I ask them, what do you think is going to happen when you reduce the number, when that number's smaller, right? And so then we can change the color, and I encourage them to make it darker. We talk about tints and shades, light and dark. And then once you change the color, you hit OK, and then they could see what's going to happen in there. Right? And again, if they don't like it, they can hit undo. Right? I encourage them not to clear the whole canvas at this point, just using undo so they could take away just part of the design. But we talk about how they can use short lines, they can use medium lines, they can use longer lines in there too. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and undo that last one. Maybe one more in here. All right. Once they have that, we go up into the menu. Another time, we change the brush to the number 5. What's going to happen? Let's see. All right, so I go ahead and make that color a little darker. All right, hit OK. Then I can see, oh yeah, they're right. And so they can add more detail to their design. All right, what they do is up to them. After we use the 5 brush, right, that's really as far as we get. But I encourage them to also, if they're interested in going one step further, dropping it down to 1. I'm going to go to black right here. Make that color even darker so they can see the amount of detail that's in there. Right? So that way they're talking about overlapping, they're talking about dark, mediums, and lights. Then they are talking about thick, medium, and thin lines. Right? So once they have that done, we go into not the menu up here. Old school disk, save drawing. Do I want to save it online? No, I want to save it to the local. and I want it to access my photos, and that's okay too. So it already saved it. I'm good, and we go into the camera roll so they could see that. But you can also change the background here too. So if they wanted to use a background color other than what they already have, you can see how that changes the design as well. And that's it. That's pretty simple. The kids have a lot of fun with it. They there are a lot of really fantastic results, and I'll share some of those right after this. And it's a free app. I'm not sure if it's available on Android, but it is iOS and Apple iPads and iPhones. So I encourage you, if you've got a young student at home, you're looking for something to do, this is definitely worth checking out. And here's a selection of first grade examples from last year. You can see how each of them is a little bit different. Some are more weighted towards thick lines, some are more weighted towards thin, some towards the lighter colors or darker colors. But you can see that the possibilities for it are really endless. And you can connect it to the Japanese pufferfish. You can talk about rosette windows. You can apply it to a wide variety of subjects in your art curriculum and at home.